As one of the newer GMs in the NBA, Nico Harrison has done a wonderful job with the Dallas Mavericks, as far as finding players that fit, making all the acquisitions and trades happen, as well as the tough decisions necessary for this team to have even made it to the NBA Finals just a few months ago. And on this channel, we talked about how Derrick Lively benefits a lot from how this roster looks going forward, as he is now our starting center. But there's another player who is also going to benefit from the roster change as well as a role change, and that's Daniel Gafford. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into Daniel Gafford, take a look at how he helped this team last season, what he can do in this upcoming season to continue to improve, as well as help the team win games, as well as we're going to react to a little clip from Daniel Gafford going up against Chet Holmgren in an open gym situation where he just straight up dominates him. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we are absolutely so close to 13,000 subscribers. We're at 12,977. We only need about 23 more subs. I think we can do it with this video. If you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related, if you don't want to miss out on a single thing that we do, make sure you subscribe, and I'd appreciate it greatly. We are so close to 13K. I appreciate it, guys. But like I said in the intro, Daniel Gafford is another player who I think benefits greatly from this roster change and role change on the Dallas Mavericks. And we saw last season at the trade deadline where we did make the push to get him from the Washington Wizards. And immediately, I don't know about you guys, but I was ecstatic for it. I was always a fan of his game. He's a smaller center, but he's still a very good center in the NBA for his size. And with the Dallas Mavericks, he just fits in very well. And as we all know, the center position is a position that was fairly weak for a long time on the Dallas Mavericks, and I've said it before, of all the players that have come and gone that we've tried to make our center, there was JaVale McGee, there was Moses Brown, we had Richaun Holmes, who we did end up trading for Daniel Gafford, and the list goes on. There was Boban, who I did like having him on the Dallas Mavericks, but we needed a true center, someone that maybe is a step above Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell did his job, he did what we asked him to do, but we knew that at that center position, we could use an upgrade, and there are better centers in the league. I think Dwight Powell is a fine third string center for most teams, but for the Dallas Mavericks, if we have someone like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, the pick and roll has to be something that we can abuse. And if you have a weak center, but an amazing point guard in Luka or Kyrie as playmakers, you're going to have a hard time being able to use a pick and roll against the other bigs in the league, like a Joel Embiid, a Nikola Jokic, even Anthony Davis. And the Dallas Mavericks definitely went out to fix that problem as we drafted Derrick Lively, where in the beginning, in the summer, before the season even started, Jason Kidd wasn't too sure if Derrick Lively was even going to be a starting center, but quickly he did impress the coaching staff and was our starting center. But we still needed a good backup. And then Nico had the idea of going out and get Daniel Gafford, and the rest was history. We all saw how he was setting records, breaking records. He was rivaling Wilt Chamberlain's records for the most field goals, consecutive field goals made without a miss. Daniel Gafford fit like a glove with the Dallas Mavericks right away, and for the second half of the season, we were able to win the majority of our games. And I would say that not only Daniel Gafford, but also PJ Washington, those two trades helped bring us out of the play-in situation and into the playoffs, where we made it to the NBA Finals. And although Daniel Gafford did somewhat struggle in the playoffs, we saw him in the first round against the Clippers, where Zubac was just able to just feast down low. Daniel Gafford wasn't even a threat to him, where you could argue that Derrick Lively actually looked better up against Zubac. But then in the second round, where we go against the Oklahoma City Thunder, Daniel Gafford, in my opinion, was fine. Now, obviously, Derrick Lively was the star big man of that series, completely owning Chet Holmgren. Derrick Lively did a pretty decent job as well. And in the third round against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he continued to shine, mainly in the third and fourth quarter. In the second half, he played very well, but again, Derrick Lively did look like the better big man. And then there was the NBA Finals, where we all know that no one really looked that good in the NBA Finals. But if we take a look at Daniel Gafford stats for last season, this is Kyrie Irving. Dude, there's Daniel Gafford. He averaged 11 points, 7.6 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 2.1 blocks, 0.9 steals, and 1 turnover per game, as well as 3 fouls per game, while shooting 72% from the floor. 72% from the floor while averaging 11 points. As a 6'10" big man, he is arguably 2 or 3 inches shorter than the majority of the centers in the league, especially against someone like Victor Wembanyama, where he's about 9 inches shorter than Victor. Well, however tall he is, but being able to put up these numbers while being our starting center for the second half of the season, while we were up against some some of the premier bigs in the league is impressive. And if we continue, 76% of his twos are assisted. That pick and roll is money. We've seen the high flying lobs. We've seen just the ability to cut to the basket. And even in a fast break situation, Daniel Gafford has pretty good footwork to where he's not just the last person getting back on offense after a good rebound. He's one of the ones ready to catch a long pass from Luka, a full court pass to just dunk it or lay it up on the other end. Daniel Gafford has been a godsend for us, and even after the NBA Finals, where we did fail to win the finals, we did see that Derrick Lively will be taking over that starting center position, and Daniel Gafford will be going to the bench. And that's where I think that we should start this conversation, because that doesn't mean that inherently Derrick Lively is better than Daniel Gafford. In my opinion, the reason why you make that move is because Derrick Lively is a 7-foot center. That height, that length, that's going to help you in more games than not. Whereas even though Daniel Gafford is a great defender, a very good center for his size, only being 6'10", having him come off the bench is a little bit better. And you also don't want to stifle Derrick Lively's growth and development. You don't want to go out and get someone like Daniel Gafford and tell Derrick Lively, hey, you're going to continue to ride the bench. I know you're just a rookie, about to be a sophomore. You do kind of have to earn your spot, but you don't want to get somebody to just quickly replace the guy that not really saved, but just helped you the majority of the season last year at his position, where he outplayed some of the other young bigs in the league, like Chet Holmgren and even Victor Wembanyama on a game or two. But Daniel Gafford going to the bench isn't a bad thing. Like I said, it doesn't mean that Derrick Lively is better than Daniel Gafford. I think for a rotation standpoint, that actually works very well, where with the way that this roster is currently constructed, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of play between Daniel Gafford and Spencer Dinwiddie in their own pick and roll situation, which just makes our second unit that much better. And we all know that Derrick Lively and Daniel Gafford are just 1A, 1B of the center position, kind of like how Luka and Kyrie are 1A and 1B of the superstar or the number 1 guy in Dallas. There's no Batman and Robin. We got the Justice League. They're all superstars. They're all superheroes. The team is special. But Daniel Gafford can definitely benefit from this new roster change. He's going to be playing with more defenders, and as we saw at the trade deadline, well, since the trade deadline, where we got Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, our defense was amazing, and that was because we got Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, two guys who just elevated our defense. When you've got a center who's competent enough to guard other bigs and a power forward in PJ Washington that can guard the 3 through maybe even the 5 some nights, that makes a lot of other players' jobs easier. And I'd argue that's probably why Derrick Jones Jr. became a great point of attack defender. The amount of time the guys have to spend guarding outside of their position or on the help defense dropped drastically once we trade for PJ and Daniel Gafford. And even though he's going to the bench, he's on the bench with other great defenders and Najee Marshall and Quentin Grimes. Spencer Dinwiddie's not that bad of a defender. Jaden Hardy can learn a thing or two. I mean, the bench is pretty loaded. We do have a pretty deep team, and Daniel Gafford can definitely benefit from all the changes included. And I'm pretty sure that Jason Kidd's going to move up the roster just a little bit. Maybe Daniel Gafford starts if we play against smaller teams, or maybe against certain centers. Yes, Daniel Gafford will start, but regardless of how it looks, I do believe that Daniel Gafford will continue to split minutes with Derrick Lively at the center position. It really doesn't matter who you want to start. They'll probably play roughly about the same minutes, but it is all about who's going to end games and finish games. And if Derrick Lively can continue to improve on his free throw shot, he may finish games out or close games out more than Daniel Gafford. But it wouldn't surprise me if Daniel Gafford is closing out more games than not. But if we just want to take a look back on memory lane at what are some things that Daniel Gafford did with the Dallas Mavericks, well, here's a fun fact. Derrick Lively is second, and Derrick Lively is second, and Daniel Gafford is 5th, are both top 5 in field goal percentage for all active NBA players throughout their careers. Best center rotation in the league. You've got Derrick Lively and Daniel Gafford, both in the top 10 for field goal percentage. That just proves my point about how the pick and roll is an option that we truly have now. I mean, Luka and Kyrie are both great playmakers. Spencer Dinwiddie is not that bad himself, but we never had just this type of efficiency with those options on the interior. We were a team that relied on the mid-range shot, and we lived and died by the 3, whether it's Luka taking a very early in the shot clock 3, or you got Tim Hardaway Jr. throwing up about 10-12 threes a game and only making about 2 or 3 of them. Now the team's a lot different. We're multifaceted. We are a 3-layer offensive team where we can score on the inside, we can score on the outside, and we all saw in the playoffs where Luka Doncic could get to the free throw line whenever he wanted. He knew how to bait those fouls out. Derrick Lively and Daniel Gafford being two of, in my opinion, of the premier bigs in the league. I'm not going to say they're the two best bigs in the league, but they are two of the more premier bigs in the league. And with Derrick Lively being so young, he will only get better. But let's not forget that Daniel Gafford's only 25. He's not that much older than the rest of the players. He can still improve. And in a clip that we are going to take a look at can kind of show you where Derrick Lively is with his development. And let me just preface this. He did shave his head finally. I don't know about you guys, but I could tell that the man was balding, but he looks good in this clip. But let's go ahead and take a look at it, shall we? Look at that, going up. Ooh, slam. Off the glass. Alley-oop. Going up right against Chet. Back him down. Ooh, offhand. Reverse. Good. Back, put back dunk. Easy. Back him down. Back him down. Pivot. Hook. And it's money. Collecting rent on Chet. Landlord here. Slumlord. Easy. Hook. Put back dunk. Ooh, from the three. Splash. Oh, Clay's going to love that. Even being doubled, fade away, put back, he's good. Under the basket, reverse leg, good. Daniel Gafford can still improve. Daniel Gafford could easily hit another tier in his own development, and where we're really questioning, it could be halfway through the season, where we're questioning ourselves, who do we actually start? Is it Derrick Lively, who I'm sure is going to take another step in his own development this season? But Daniel Gafford could be hitting his peak anytime soon. Now, obviously, it's an open gym. Those are some clips that were kind of cherry-picked to make Daniel Gafford look good. I did watch the full, there are many other clips from that game, and Daniel Gafford looked good in general. There were times where Chet wasn't being guarded by Daniel Gafford. He looked good as well. I'm not going to say Chet's trash, but Daniel Gafford definitely looked good in those clips. And if he's getting those reps in the summer, I can only imagine what this upcoming season is going to look like, where we have Daniel Gafford, where we have Derrick Lively. If you want to put Najee Marshall at the 5, if you're feeling spicy, go ahead, Jason Kidd, go ahead. Or maybe if Jamarian Sharp makes it past training camp, boom, put him in. As far as our big men go, we are solid. Now, as far as that power forward position, that's to be seen. As we've said many times, we do have PJ Washington, we do have Maxi Kleber still, we have a few other guys that could fit that 4, but at least we know that at the 5 position, Derrick Lively is going to thrive this upcoming season, and so will the landlord in Daniel Gafford. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. How well do you think that Daniel Gafford will look in this upcoming season? Do you think that Derrick Lively is going to take the majority of his minutes, or do you think it's going to be kind of split? I personally think it's going to be split, but if you think differently, let me know in the comment section down below. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for being as far to the video. My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest. Check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing a fantasy league, a basketball NBA fantasy league. You have to be a part of the 2nd tier or higher, and we're going to start the draft. The league will officially begin the 1st week of September. But till next time, drink water. Peace.